Hi everyone and welcome to a new video. The recent 3.26 patch note brought a long-awaited buff to a number of spell skills, especially those focused on self-casting. But, beyond the raw numerical buffs, there are some key changes that makes a few spells look extremely promising. In this video, I'm going to highlight 3 standout spells that really caught my attention. Then, I'll show you how other changes stack on top to push them even further. So, let's dive in. The 3 main spells I want to focus on are Flameblast of Celerity, Incinerate of Venting, and Winter Orb. These 3 have something important in common. They are all channeling skills. And in 3.26, we're getting a new support gem designed specifically for self-cast channeling spells. This new support gives supported skills deal 19% more damage per second spent channeling up to 60%. And skill costs 20% more per second spent channeling up to 100%. So, if you channel for 5 seconds, you'll double your mana cost, but get a massive boost in damage. While you won't be channeling for that long on every enemy, for boss fight or precasting scenarios, this support is phenomenal. Now, let's look at the spells individually. Flameblast of Celerity. This one is my personal favorite. Its cast time was slightly increased from 0.25 to 0.3 seconds, but, in return, it got huge buff to AoE and damage. Per stage more damage jumped from 165% to 220%. With a 3 stage cap, this is a 660% more damage total. And, with quality, you now gain up to 40% more damage. Altogether, this results in roughly 205 additional more damage compared to the gem in 3.25. That is massive. Winter Orb also received very significant buffs. Added cold damage increased from 270-337 to 360-450, which is about 33% buff. Damage effectiveness rose from 60% to 80%, and increased projectile frequency while channeling went from 150% to 125%. But duration per stage increased from 25% to 30%, and base projectile frequency got buffed from 15% to 20% per stage. Despite the small trade-off, the overall output and consistency are looking much better than before. Incinerate of Venting received buffs across the board. Effectiveness of added damage increased from 50% to 55%, max stage increased from 12 to 15, plus 1 from quality for a total of 16 maximum stages. Base fire damage increased from 207, 311 to 228, 342. As it is, all these buffs would be sufficient to make the skills we talked about very competitive. But we are not done yet. There was a change to Righteous Fire of Arcane Devotion. It now grants up to 25% more cast speed at gem level 20. On its own, this is absolutely massive. But, for channeling skills, which rely heavily on cast speed to reach their maximum stages and full potential, this is extraordinary. Now, let's talk about the downside, because some of you might be worried about sustain. This version of Righteous Fire deals damage to you based on 90% of your maximum mana. On average, caster builds have around 1000 maximum mana, so 1000 times 0.9 equals 900 fire base damage per second. With 80% fire resistance, which is easy to achieve with Ruby Flask or other means, that becomes 900 times 0.2, which is 180 life degenerated per second. And, with just a level 20 Vitality gem, you're already covered. It gives 203.3 life regenerated per second, which overcome the entirety of the downside. And we are not quite done yet. There's also notable buff to Arcane Surge. Increased cast speed has gone from 10% to 20%, and while that alone is great, we can scale Arcane Surge effect with passive 3 nodes up to 90%. That's not new, but it stacks well with the next interaction. During the 3.26 reveal, we saw Mercenaries in action. One of them was using Enduring Cry.
Let's say you won the duel, like their items, and have decided to hire them. What combat skills do they bring to the table? I want a mercenary with a bit more resilience and utility. I've just run into a striker, who can spawn with Vigilant Strike. He will also frequently use Enduring Cry.
And if you equip that mercenary with Brynnerod Flag, they grant you 50% increased effect of Arcane Surge when they are using Enduring Cry at maximum power. That's a huge boost without even needing to trigger this mechanic yourself. So, are you excited about any of these spells or planning to build around them? Or do you have something completely different in mind? Let me know in the comments. I'm genuinely curious to see what people will come up with. Self-cast builds have been a bit behind in the endgame lately, so these changes are very welcome. I'm not sure if self-cast builds are going to be absolutely dominating the meta, because there is other changes that are great, like Champions Rework, but it will definitely be competitive. And we are likely to see a great build diversity for this league, maybe even the greatest we've ever seen. This is fantastic for player retention, economy, and just overall league sanity. Still say in exile? About what to expect in the next few days, I'll be releasing a top league starter video, so if you're still unsure what to play, stay tuned for that. This is it for today. Thank you so much for watching, please like, share and subscribe, and until my next video, take care of yourself and bye!
Last night I had a dream, dropped the mirror on stream. Oh my god, what's so clean, best thing I've ever seen. Dans peu, mirror, dans peu, mirror, dans peu, mirror. Dans peu, mirror, dans peu, mirror, dans peu, mirror.